The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 133. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of real women producing extraordinary results by finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook at our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a special lady on today who's all the way from California. She is a content creator, and she's here today to share her story about self-confidence and her journey. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Megan Le Vu. Megan, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
I'm great. Thank you for having me on the show. I am a digital marketer. I create videos almost daily. And yeah, I have a show called Get in the Lab at the moment. And we were just discussing this, but I think people still associate me with being a wedding photographer, but I have retired. I have successfully retired. So happily a at-home entrepreneur now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, it's amazing to be able to work from home, right? You can do it in your pajamas or
yes,
from the comfort of your bed.
Oh, yes. It's so liberating because the big reason that I didn't want to shoot anymore was because my back. I had actually really injured it. And every time I shot, it was just like re-injuring it all over again. So.
Yeah, so that's good. You've been able to get out of that and, not have your back even in a worse situation than it was before. So thanks for sharing that. And what's your cultural background?
I'm Filipino.
I was born in the Philippines too, so.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I wasn't born in the Philippines. I was actually born here. So I should say American, right? But my ethnic background is Filipino.
What would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Everything that is popular is wrong. That's one favorite. I think I wrote to you, smash the old perceptions of yourself, which I think is more aptly attuned. I think every time, every day even, we're always learning what we can do and smashing the old kind of belief that we had, the old self-limiting beliefs that we had. Like right now I'm in the middle of writing a book. And I actually just finished, and one of my book coach was saying, "Oh, we're going to get this done really fast." And I was just like, "Okay, whatever." And we did. We actually got it done in about 28 days. And so the bulk of the writing is done, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, "Wow, I didn't know I had 20-some thousand words in me to talk about video." But there you go, there it is. So I love that quote.
Awesome. And I like that. Smash the old perceptions of yourself because, some of our old perceptions are from other people, right? And we tend to believe other people's perceptions to the point where we don't take any action. So, it's great that you had a coach that believed in you that you could do it in 28 days. So congrats to that. I can't wait to see that book. And, in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
For me, it's the courage to acknowledge your fear, to acknowledge your self-doubt and say, okay, what I'm feeling right now is just self-doubt. And that's all it really is. And so I'm really not going to know my limits or even what I can accomplish if I don't just go for it, if I don't just try. It's like me in public speaking. The first time I spoke was in 2015 in front of 100 people or something. I was so nervous. My mouth was super cotton dry and it really, really scared me. I had some anxiety from it, but I knew I needed to just try it because I knew what public speaking can bring to brand, to the business, and just to myself personally. And when I actually did it, it wasn't perfect. But the experience that I got from it, from just doing it, gave me so much more confidence in who I was as a business owner and who I was as a means of my brand. I wanted to share video with more and more people, and speaking in front of people that way, in front of a live audience, is definitely a way to test yourself. So confidence really is pushing past all of your self-doubt, your fear, acknowledging that those are valid emotions and valid feelings, but to just try it and go for it anyway.
Awesome. And I love that because we all have fears. We all have self-doubt. We all have, we all experience anxiety. But, I think we get this because our mind wants us to be aware of it. But, it's up to us to decide whether we go forward or we stay put in the position that we're in. So, it's great that you're able to see what could go right when you go out public speaking, regardless of how perfect it is, because so many people are always afraid of what could go wrong, right?
Right.
And, nobody starts as an expert, right? Everyone starts somewhere, right? They always say,
Yes.
a master was once a disaster. so,
Love it.
so, we have to realize that we're not going to be perfect the first time, right? It takes a lot of practice. Even me with like doing this podcast, I was like you, I was afraid, but I knew what could go right. I knew how it could change women's lives. So even if I was stuttering or if I was scared to even ask people to interview, I just kept on doing it to the point where I'm comfortable to be able to go up and ask somebody to do an interview or, go on the mic and start talking to people. So, I mean, we all have to realize we have to start somewhere. So great definition. I love it. And, what was your life like before the discovery of self-confidence?
My life was like just going with the flow. I think people associate that phrase with being cool, like being a cool cat, whatever. And I would still say like, oh yeah, I'm still pretty like easygoing and stuff. But literally, I adopted the beliefs, the values, the priorities of other people in my life, where I was literally a doormat, like relationships, intimate relationships, family relationships, what else? Just any relation, even friendships, just adopting other people's beliefs and not really having a voice of my own. And when I discovered making video, which was just for fun, it started being this crazy thing where it was like, oh, I actually do have something to say. I have my own opinions. I have my own way of putting myself out into the world. And when I discovered that, I blew my own mind. I smashed the old perceptions of myself. I was like, holy crap, I'm actually not a doormat. And I just had so much to say and and an opinion to share to the world and to kind of rediscover for myself. And so before discovering self-confidence, I was just such a mouse, such a mouse. And nowadays, I actually stand up for what I believe in. I definitely, take on the opinions and influences of others in the best way that I can. And I let that come through me, but I always try to breathe in of what I'm taking in and breathe out the thing that I want, right? I've molded it and shaped it to my own beliefs, my own priorities. And so I would say this to women, we get influenced a lot in a general basis. We consume a lot of information, whether it's from our mentors, our spouses, our family, our friends, but we need to breathe in, but we also need to breathe out, take as much support as we can coming in, but also give back, take it into yourself and mold it and own it. And that's how I was before self-confidence. And now I feel like it's kind of like being reborn again.
Awesome. And, I think too, being in an Asian culture, especially for women, I find that we're always told what to do, right?
Yes.
It's like, go to school, get a job, get married, and just don't make any noise, right?
Yes.
Our parents might fear we might make, a fool of ourselves or, we're going to get talked about. And it's not that it's their fault, right? I mean, it's how they were raised and it's, the only way they know. But, when people start reading books and start associating themselves with other people, then they know that there's another way. So, like for us, I'm sure we were all raised the same way, told us to go to school, get a job, get married, and yada, yada, yada. And then we figured out that, wow, like you made a video. It's like, oh, wow, I do have a voice and I can go out there and speak my mind and people will listen to me, right?
Exactly.
So it's amazing what we can do when we can find out other things. So, I'm really glad a video helped you bring your own voice. And now you're doing, all these cool things like speaking and writing your own book. And, to the woman who's listening to your podcast, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence, trying to find herself. And what would be that one tip you would give to her?
One tip. Start vlogging. Vlogging has been really instrumental in my own self-therapy. So I think that's just for me because I don't have a lot of close relationships where I never felt really comfortable truly being myself because I had been, unconfident for a lot of my life until I discovered video and I discovered how to put my own voice forward and establish who I am and my identity. And if you're anything like me, and you're an introvert and you have a hard time connecting with people or just in general, even if you're an extrovert, talking about your own struggles, your own life through vlogging, you don't have to make it public, but I think it's such a instrumental tool in just self-therapy, and getting to that place of like, okay, this is who I am. This is who I want to put forward into the world. And it's great because you can look back on it and you can see the progress. You can measure your success. And if I go look back at the videos that I made back in 2012, I'm just a different person. And it's crazy to now. And I think that's amazing. And I want to share that experience and that kind of development that I've had with creating video with other people too.
I love it. And, I totally believe every woman should start doing video. I mean, when I did video too, like when I first did my first video, I was terrible. I was nervous. I was shaking. I had sweaty palms. I had to take a 2-minute video like 50 times.
Yeah.
And it was just like telling people, I work from home in my pajamas, and it was like the worst 2 minutes of my life, but I kept on doing it, right? And and you're right. The progress you have from your first video to like your 100th video, it's like totally different. And when I was doing videos more and more, like I didn't care what people think. There's videos of me drowning, in the beaches of Hawaii. There's me like being stuck in the rain because I didn't check the weather. But people like watching that, right? They just know like, they can relate to you. They can get to know, like, and trust you more. So, I just believe every woman should do video, even though it's scary. I get it because I've been there. I'm sure you've been there, Megan.
Oh, yeah.
We're beautiful creatures, right? And we got to show our faces out there to the world. So that's why I think every woman should do video.
They should. And, just to get to see who's behind, because this is what I kind of preach, is that we're all kind of saying the same thing as digital marketers, digital entrepreneurs. But nobody can touch who, Sheena Yap Chan is, right? There's only one you, right? There's only one Megan. There's only one you out there, whoever's listening right now. And so nobody can touch you on that level. So dig deep into that, right? And video is the fastest way to show who you are and connect with an audience with whom you really want to connect with, because they see the real you. As long as you're putting out the authentic you in the video, right? And I think that takes some time as well to get to that point. But that's the whole point, right? You don't do this overnight. You don't cultivate a business overnight. You don't cultivate an audience overnight. But that's the whole point. It's hard for a reason, but not in the way that you think video is hard. But I ramble. But anyway, yeah, you should definitely get into video.
Awesome. I love that tip. Great advice. And Megan, if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, definitely. You can check out the book. It's a culmination of a very in-depth guide into what we barely scratched on in this interview. So I appreciate that, Sheena. It's called the videomarketerscookbook.com. And you can check out the show at getinthelab.me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And listeners, if you want to connect with Megan, check out her book, check out her show, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Megan's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really want to thank Megan, for taking the time to share her story with us and share her tips on self-confidence. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It was fun.
Not a problem. To our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we will talk to you later. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us at the Tao of Self-Confidence. Head over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com for full recaps of every show, our amazing blog articles and resources, and just plain fun. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits, so start today.